Hey friends, it's me, Christiana Gaudet, your Tarot Fairy Godmother, and have I got a rant for you? So this is a rant about a particular way that I'm hearing people talk about the Major Arcana versus the Minor Arcana. And let me start with a caveat. There are no tarot police. If you do this and it works for you, A, great. And B, would you please tell me in the comments functionally how it works for you and how it makes sense for you? Because this is a rant of me saying, I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't understand it. And maybe that's my feeling. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking it's crazy. But for now, here comes my rant. Okay. I have been studying tarot since the 1980s for a long time, right? And I heard something about how we look at Major Arcana and Minor Arcana. For the very first time, I heard this particular thing, probably in about 2015. But since then, I've heard it again and again and again from all these different sources as if it's just canon, it's just the way it is and not to be questioned. I would love to know if any of you know, where did this come from? And how does it make sense to you? Again, here it is. The Major Arcana should always be interpreted as the things that you cannot change. And the Minor Arcana should be interpreted as the things you can. So Major Arcana, what you don't have agency over. Yeah, Major Arcana, what you don't have agency over. Minor Arcana, what you do. Major Arcana, what you cannot change. Minor Arcana, what you can. Now, my head explodes every time I see this. What kind of horse manure is this? Okay, why do I think it's crap? For so many reasons. Number one, I hate limitations. Anytime you tell me this entire group of cards is always going to be this, I feel like it's lazy and limiting because different cards can do different things at different times depending on the context. Number one. Number two, how can you tell me that the Major Arcana cards, all 22 of them, will deal with things you cannot change? Now, so operationally, if I'm looking at a spread of cards and I see the Major Arcana cards, I'm going to say, okay, well, these are circumstances. These are areas in your life where you cannot make a change. So if a Major Arcana card comes up to talk about my difficult relationship, does that mean I can't leave my relationship? Does that mean that the person I'm in a relationship with is incapable of change? I mean, sometimes that might be true, but not always. And then when we look at the individual Major Arcana cards, many of them give you agency to make change. The Magician tells you you've got the power to make the changes you need. The Sun tells you that you must let your light shine. The Temperance tells you you have all the ingredients you need to create whatever you want. Now, there are some Major Arcana cards in my mind that do sort of talk about having to accept certain things like death. We have to accept that changes come, right? The Hanged Man, we have to accept all good things in all good time and not in our time. The Wheel of Fortune, we must accept the things that we cannot change. The Hanged Man, I think, is very much like the Serenity Prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah, sure. But the idea that the Major Arcana talks about things that are set that you cannot change. Yeah, no, sorry, not buying it. And it bothers me that this is just like being accepted as the way it is, right? Now, the idea that Minor Arcana cards will always talk about things we have agency over. Now, the Four of Swords, man, that suggests a parameter where you better listen. You can't not listen to the Four of Swords, or there could be dire consequences. I'm sure there are some others where you don't have a choice, right? The Seven of Wands, what choice does that give you but to stand and defend? To stand in your own defense and to come to your own aid. What choice does that give you? It doesn't. So, that being the case, then how do I interpret majors differently than minors? And the answer is, it really depends. It depends on the reading. It depends on the context. I will always make note if there are a lot of majors in a spread. For example, if I'm using an 11 card spread and there are like 5 or more majors, am I going to say, well, there's a lot here you can't change? No. I almost swore there, but I didn't. But you knew what I was going to say. No. What would I say? I would say pay attention to your choices, because your choices really matter here. That what you do really matters. I would say it looks like the hand of a higher power really is moving in your life. I would say this could be a time of great importance, a time that you'll look back on as a time that was transformational in your life. I'll say all those things, sure. But the idea that this is something you can't change. Now, do I believe there are things we cannot change in life? Of course, yes. Do I believe there are things we can change in life? Absolutely, yes. I think there's probably more things we can change than not, but I think that's an attitude issue in a lot of ways. Depends on what you're focusing on. And do I think those things are delineated by the Major and Minor Arcana cards? Heck no. So if you agree or disagree with me, it's all good. We all have our own ways of looking at it. If you happen to know where this idea came about, let me know. If you happen to have a way of looking at it that works for you, let me know. If you agree or disagree, let me know. I'll look forward to your comments. But if you're someone who, like me, has been struggling with this concept, your Tarot Fairy Godmother releases you from the idea that Major Arcana cards have to be interpreted as things you cannot change, and Minor Arcana cards have to be interpreted as things you can change. Let the circumstances, let the context help you decide where there is agency and where there is not. Thanks so much for your kind attention. I'll see you soon.